seen the Reserve Bank cut interest rates to a new record low. The official rate now stands at 1%. We're waiting to see what the big four banks will do in relation to this. Will they pass it on? Will they pass all of it on? Will they pass most of it on? Here's what the Reserve Bank Governor has said in relation to this rate cut. On the economy itself, the central scenario for the Australian economy, Philip Lowe says, remains reasonable, with growth around trend expected. The main domestic uncertainty continues to be the outlook for consumption, although a pickup in growth in household disposable income is expected to support spending. When it comes to the banks, though, and whether they should pass on all of this rate cut, let me show you what the Reserve Bank Governor has said there. Bank funding costs in Australia have also declined, with money market spreads having fully reversed the increases that took place last year. So, in other words, no excuse not to pass on the interest rate cut. What does this also say about the state of the economy? Well, the Shadow Treasurer, Jim Chalmers, is speaking to the media right now about that, making the point it's not a sign of strength in the economy.
Trying to pretend that everything is Labor's fault, and we shouldn't fall for that. We have a Treasurer who spends all of his time poring over my transcripts, a Treasurer that wrote an opinion piece that was 42 paragraphs long and 31 of those paragraphs were about Labor. We have a big problem here in the sense that our Treasurer and our Prime Minister, in a third term of office, want to try and pretend that the economic weaknesses which have emerged on their watch, in some cases even since the election, are somehow Labor's fault. And I think, as I talk to people in communities right around Australia, up and down the Queensland coast, the thing that they say about this government is that it's finally time for the government to stop blame shifting and finger pointing and pretending that everything is somebody else's fault. It's time for the government to take responsibility for the fact that we have a floundering economy, for the fact that middle Australia is struggling. We have put a constructive proposal on the table in good faith to try and help them turn things around. And if they vote against a tax cut for every Australian worker this term, as they look like doing in an hour or two.
Jim Chalmers, the Shadow Treasurer there, reflecting on the interest rate cut and again making the point that the government should support Labor's ideas now when it comes to these tax cuts. Let me just quickly check in with our business editor, Ticky Fullerton, on the rate cut today. Ticky, thanks for joining me. Look, reading through the Reserve Bank Governor's statement on this, he's not exactly too pessimistic about the economy. It seems to me he's, still glass half full about the prospects. Why has he decided, why has the board decided to cut rates today?
You make a very good point, and it would be really interesting to see what he will say tonight in his speech, whether we'll get any more nuance. I should just say, breaking news, ANZ is the first of the banks that have moved just now, passing on the full cut. So it'll be interesting to see what the others do. But to your point, I think, again, he has said that he is concerned about wages growth and inflation and the jobs rate. And these are the issues that just don't seem to be moving. So this sort of 1-2 manoeuvre, which hasn't happened since, 2012, 2 rate cuts in a row now, I think he's hoping that this will be enough to actually impact the both on the job side and hopefully click into wages pressure. But David, it's really interesting. I think it's all very well on the home loan side. As I say, ANZ has just moved. But what about the depositors? Now, we're hearing that wholesale rates are no longer a reason for the wholesale funding rates are no longer a reason for banks not to pass on the full amount. And if you remember, ANZ last time around only passed out some of it. So everybody was dark on ANZ, a bit dark on Westpac. This time they're passing on the whole lot. Interesting to see what the others do. But there's wholesale costs, not a reason. But one of the things that's going to happen as a result of this is the deposit rates. And what's this going to do to depositors? Because the deposits are one way that these big banks actually fund their business. And if we get depositors now moving out into other areas, perhaps shares, perhaps even shares in the bank, it's going to really change.
No, look, you're right. I mean, the security, obviously, of having your money parked in the bank, but boy, you're not going to be earning any money on that deposit now with rates coming down as low as they have. All right, look, Tiki, thank you for that and the news there about the ANZ passing on the full rate cut. We'll keep an eye on what the other 3 big banks do. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon.